Hi guys, Brian from Boas here. So I finished my countdown of the 12 days of Boas, but I thought I'd do a few bonus episodes since I've been getting such positive feedback on the series, as well as requests to see additional animals that didn't make the 12-day countdown. And so today I thought I'd show you the Honduran Firebelly Boa. And this is a really cool Central American island boa that's been selectively bred for this beautiful orange-red belly. And so this is an adult female. This one is about 9 years old, bred by Legacy Reptiles. And so she's successfully had a few litters in the past, including one in 2021 was, just this year was the last litter that she had. So this is, you can see the beautiful red and pink belly. They have kind of this darker upper half to their body, kind of this almost an olive greenish color, and darker brown saddles, and then the tail has these beautiful kind of maroonish saddles. The Honduran boas in general have this kind of short head. It's kind of a short, stocky looking head. So the mainland Honduran boas will show this also. And so this particular type of boa, the Honduran Firebelly, is a bloodline that was established by the breeder Dennis Sargent. And Dennis Sargent acquired a group of animals that had been imported by Tom Crutchfield back in the late 90s. And he selected animals that just had this beautiful pinkish belly color, pinkish red belly color. And he selectively bred them, which gave birth to his Honduran Firebelly line. And so Dennis Sargent actually got out of breeding a few years later, and the animals were kind of dispersed. There weren't a whole lot of animals to begin with. I think the original group of founder animals was only like a few, like 3 or 4 animals. So they're relatively hard to find, but I'm lucky to get some animals from Legacy Reptiles, and I'm working with those right now. So these animals, they can be a little hissy. This female is actually behaving herself, but the first few years I had her, I really couldn't handle her. But she's calmed down, as she's gotten bigger. So, right now it's, not too difficult to handle. But she has drawn blood before. You can see they have these kind of beautiful reddish eyes that kind of are really prominent. So really cool looking boa. These guys are said to come from an island called Roatan, which is it's in the barrier islands off of the coast of Honduras and the Caribbean. So they're, technically an island boa. There are some other Central American boas, including some from Costa Rica, that have similar coloration, but only the boas that descend from the line established by Dennis Sargent are the Honduran Firebelly Boas. This is a holdback male. This guy was born here in 2018. And what I found is that there's quite a bit of variability in the litters as far as the pattern and color of these animals. So some of them have well-formed symmetrical saddles. Others have lots of striping and aberrancies. And part of the reason I held this guy back was that he has the striping over parts of his body. You can see his neck has this stripe, then he's got some saddles, and then he's got another stripe on his tail. I just really love the looks of this guy. So you can see his fire belly color developing, and these animals typically will get brighter as they age. And so this guy's coloration has been developing nicely over the last few years. And you can also see the beautiful eyes on this guy. They just really stand out, that orangey brown eye color. And they got these short, stocky little heads. It's quite a distinctive head shape for these animals. So this guy has been doing real well. Most of them I haven't had any issues, with feeding or anything like that. Most of them mine have eaten without any problem on rodents. Interestingly, I have a female from the same litter that I held back, and for whatever reason, this female only wants to eat live. Even at 3.5 years old, she won't eat any frozen thawed or pre-killed rodents. She just wants it live. So I have to feed her the live rodents to get her to eat, which is kind of a pain. But then interestingly, this guy, and I have another holdback from the litter, they have no problem feeding on frozen thawed rodents. It's just kind of the animal, for whatever reason, has this individual difference. But I really like this guy. This is definitely one of my favorite holdbacks of any locality that I produced. Just really beautiful to look at. Behavior-wise, they're a little unusual, I would say. You know, they're fine to handle, and you know, they're not really that aggressive, but they can be a little hissy. You know, my big female I showed you has bitten me a few times, although she appears to be calming down now. Probably not the most docile, you know, as far as a pet personality, but nothing that really poses any huge challenge for the boa keeper. And as far as the size, they're kind of a medium-sized boa. Typically, I'd say a large adult is between 5 and 7 feet, so not a huge boa, but not a dwarf either. And you know, I look forward to hopefully in the next couple years these holdbacks from my 2018 litter will be coming of age, and you know, we'll have another generation of these Honduran Firebellies born here. One more Firebelly Boa for today's video. This is a holdback male born here in 2021, so he's now about 6 months old, and you can see this guy also has quite a bit of striping. You can see just a few saddles in the middle of his body, and he's got that striping in towards the head and the tail. Just a really cool look, you know, and I'll like to see where I can take this project. You can see this guy only has a few saddles right in the middle. Other than that, he's really fully striped. You can see he's got the belly color. You can see the reddish tint to it. It's not quite as strong as in the older animals. Of course, it takes a few years to develop. And I've found in my litters that the color from the beginning is also somewhat variable. Some of them have more of the pinkish, some of them are a little bit more grayish, so there is some variability there. But in general, they do develop more color as they get older. You can see his little stumpy head and his really bold, you know, prominent eyes. They're a little nippy. He was kind of striking at me when I took him out, which is why I'm kind of holding him at arm's length. But of course, this size boa really can't do any damage. And I wouldn't say that they're really aggressive either. They don't really move a whole lot. They just kind of, you know, hang out and they'll strike at you. But it's pretty easy to avoid getting bitten, so nothing to worry about. You know, but a cool boa. I'm a little concerned with this particular line of boa that it's descended from such a small gene pool that these animals are probably getting really inbred, since, you know, the founder animals was just a few animals. But we'll just have to see where they go. And at some point in the future, it might be appropriate to introduce additional bloodlines into this project. Of course, then they technically wouldn't be Honduran Firebelly Boas, since they're not all descended from that original line, but we could call them something else. So we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm enjoying working with them, you know, as it is. So we'll just have to see. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this look at these Honduran Firebellies. Shoot me any questions you have. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your Boas.